Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about vouching for someone. So let's get into it. So the question in question was a little bit of a story, and it basically went, "Hi Frederick, I hope you are doing well and that you are in good health. Well, thank you so much. I wanted to ask you your advice on a situation that happened with me a while back. This question is not technically strictly technical, it's actually very socially inclined. I'm a first generation immigrant in Canada, moved here about 10 years ago. I am a front end developer since 4 years back. I had the opportunity to work with a very good company for my initial years, but I was very much struggling. Last year, I connected with my school buddy through Facebook and I went to pick him up. He's also an immigrant that migrated to Canada. During the ride, he started going through my files randomly and saw my offer letter photocopy from one of the jobs that I had. After that incident, my cousin and friends reached out to me on how to get into the front end developer business. They literally told me to my face that it looks super easy and seems like a chill job. Some of them maybe some of them were not in a healthy financial situation and saw me doing well for myself and wanted to become a better version of me. Dude, your family sounds so loving and embracing. Some of them took some steps and completed a few bootcamp courses and now are asking me for references to get into the industry. I like to help people out if it's for a good cause, but at times the line gets a little bit blurry for me, where I feel as helping somebody out is it's just helping them. Me helping them is just a way for them to use me as a tool or a stepping stone. My question is, how do I deal with a situation where someone close to me asks me for references and career help, and how would you deal with this situation? I'm sorry, the spelling. I'm very sorry. I'm trying to give this back in as good English as I possibly can, but it's been a little bit hard to understand exactly how all of the things here. So the essence is. How do you deal with friends and coworkers, and in this case, it's actually family members who, for lack of a better thing to say, they basically treat you like a doormat or a stepping stone or a way of getting a reference to get into the industry. So what I wrote back to this subscriber was basically that it's really important for you to understand something, and that is that you can't magically make a job opportunity appear for someone. It's not, I mean, I've been on this in this situation before as well, and there is really only one thing you can do most of the time, and that is to talk to your family members and explain to them that you will try to help them out, but they have to understand that it's not up to you if they get the job or not. You can't actually affect that, and that is most of the time actually very true. You don't have the authority to just say, hey, you know what, we're going to hire this person. But what you can do is do the thing that is, I think, the right thing to do, all things considered. And that is to go to your, like, take their CV or like just their, you don't even have to do that. You can just say that this is a contact person that they can reach out to, whoever is in charge of hiring within your company. And just tell them that, well, I'm going to talk to this person and you can send in your CV and I'm going to have a discussion and like put in a good word for you. And then you can go to your boss. You can say, I have this so and so, or this cousin, or this friend, or this family member. They're looking for a job opportunity. It would be like it would be a huge favor to me if you could just look at their CV and say what you think. And just set the expectations there, because what your boss is going to do is that if they're any good at all, is that they're going to ask the question, do we actually need somebody now? And this is the key thing. No matter what expectations your family members have, if your company's not hiring somebody, they're not hiring anybody. Same thing is if they're super, like, even if they are hiring somebody, is the question is, do they have the ability to do the job? If the company is hiring super senior software developers and like they're boot camp level developers. They're not hiring these people. It doesn't matter what you say, because it will be just a complete disaster to bring them into the company. And so what you do is that you do the thing that the most amount of thing, the biggest thing that you can do for them, and that is just to tell them, could you have a look at this? You're actually, in many ways, you're actually creating a situation where you are actually helping them, because if you say something to your manager, it's more likely that they will take their CV in the massive pile, because they're going to have a pile of bootcamp level developers. I can promise you that much. And they're going to put it among the prioritized piles, in the prioritized pile. That is enough, and that is all you can practically do, apart from maybe give them some coaching tips and so forth if you have that sort of information. But for the most part, that's all you can do, because your manager is not going to take your word. If you come up to your manager and say we should hire this person just because, and they just let them into the company without any testing or screening processes and stuff like that, that is a big risk to the company, and it's also a big risk to the office culture, because as you can imagine, if you let one person through on a special, you could make a special exception for them, if that leaks out to the other developers, you're in a office political inconvenient position. Maybe that's not always something that people care about, but it is a risk that your manager is going to have to factor in. Because at the end of the day, your boss will not take in someone just based on your word. Then I would also suggest to you that, I mean, if your story is true and your family members are treating you a little bit like a doormat, you might look at this as an opportunity for you to stand up for yourself a little bit. But then on the other hand, you can also ask yourself, is this sort of situation and this sort of behavior really worth you starting an argument over? I think that you don't have to make this the hill that you die on. You don't have to create a confrontation type of situation just because they have a poor attitude towards your occupation, because I can promise you this, if they actually do get a front-end position somewhere, it's likely that they're going to change their tune after they've tried it out, because it's not as easy as they might expect it to be. So what I want you to take away from this is that if you are asked to give a reference to somebody, it's actually something that is fairly normal, and it's something that is fairly easy for you to do as well. All you really have to do is to say, contact so and so within the company, and then go and talk to the person who is in charge of hiring and so forth, and just say, hey, whoever is in charge, hey, our HR person, I have this friend who would really like to work here. They might call you, or they might send you a CV. Is that okay? Just to make sure, then you go and check with the person. Is it okay if you to do this? And most of the time they're going to say, yeah, sure. Just have them send me their information, and then you've given them a chance to now prove themselves to the company. And this is the best thing you can do for everybody involved, and it's probably the only thing you can really do. Even if your family member might expect you to really help them out and get them in, or it's a given deal, that's not how it works. Every single company and every single hiring is going to require people to go through a process, like a testing process or something like that. You don't really have a control over that. So what you've done now is to just give them a boost. You've given them a chance that is probably a lot better than the other 5,000 CVs that have come in the door for that company. And so now they have a chance to prove themselves, and now it's up to them. You can coach them and maybe give them a few tips, but at the end of the day, they have to go through the same sort of thing that you've gone through and that all of us have gone through in order to survive in the industry. Because if they can't cut it, well, that's not your fault. That's all on them. Have a great day.